Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. This is Rapid Fire episode 37. This is actually my third take on the video because I've had to kind of, collect myself when it comes to some of these topics. In particular, the first topic, where Trump needs to stop tweeting about the NFL protests. He needs to stop tweeting in general. Let the people that actually have, a brain that aren't part of Dementia City, bitch, and dementia's no joke, but Trump has to be suffering from some form of that. Let the people that actually know what they're doing focus relief efforts, get more than even 10,000 workers there, relief workers there, to help everybody. They're actual American citizens. 10,000 relief workers for 3.5 million Puerto Rico citizens, aka American citizens. That's not enough. We need more. Now, it's a start, but Puerto Rico needs our help. The NFL protests, however you feel about the NFL anthem protests, and I'm on the fence about it. It's like I didn't care for Colin Kaepernick doing it because he started to show stupidity in the beginning by wearing a Fidel Castro t-shirt and a couple other things and stuff like that, and the socks that he wore with the pigs on them, the police socks, which by the way was downright insulting, and I don't blame people for being upset. Well, actually, it might not have been Kaepernick that wore that. I forget exactly who wore that. But there was a player that did that. A lot of stuff gets all muddied in my head. So because there were players that were protesting in their own way. But the whole point of it is now in this season, a lot of people are protesting more, especially this past Sunday, where people were kneeling more. You had one of the Steelers players that stood in the tunnel for the national anthem while the rest of the team stayed in the back. People were linking arms and this kind of stuff. And it was basically because Trump called people out on it. Trump is basically unifying everybody against him. And that's what I find awfully humorous, is that he thought he could control the American people, and all he's been able to control are the people that are sheepish enough to follow him. And I mean the American citizens, by the way. And I'm just going to clarify that. If you support Trump and you're outside the country, fine. But sorry, you don't know what's going on here. I mean, this is nothing personal against you guys. You can have the opinion about American politics all you want, but I don't have the informed opinion about politics in your country, whether it's in the UK, whether it's Canada, whether it's Australia, whether it's this kind of, whatever country it is. Or Mexico, even though I can't imagine that many people from Mexico supporting Trump with the whole wall thing. But really what it is everybody just needs to rise above whatever Trump's doing, which he's just trying to divide the country, and support Puerto Rico by retweeting links out, by encouraging people to donate. And I'm not saying donate necessarily. Red Cross, I've heard some 50-50 things about, but who knows. But just find a way to get help to Puerto Rico that they need. We need to help our citizens. Which Puerto Rico citizens are citizens. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff with Trump and a debt deals with Puerto Rico and a whole bunch of things that we could get into that I'm just not going to get into. I'm just simply going to say that Donald Trump clearly doesn't care that much about people that he probably wasn't even aware that Puerto Rico was associated with the U.S. and that the citizens are American citizens. Probably wasn't even aware until somebody told him. And it wouldn't surprise me, because Trump's really an uninformed, egotistical jackass that wants to fuck his own daughter. I mean, is anybody really surprised by that? I mean, no wonder him and Hogan are friends. It's just embarrassing. I mean, look, and I'm just going to say as much, as bad as Trump is making things in some parts of the U.S., or trying to make things, despite everybody resisting him, at least everybody with a brain, despite everybody doing that, things could be a whole lot worse. Things could be like they are in Puerto Rico. Mexico's been hit by a bunch of quakes. The UK is having its uprising of violence. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in other parts of the world where there could be a whole lot worse. I just don't want to say, I want the US to be what it should be because of the great country that I live in. I want it to be part of a beacon of hope for people. And that's not what Trump is leading. And it's embarrassing. It's quite frankly embarrassing. He has such hatred for people, for like different races, especially Muslims, and I'm sorry, there is nothing wrong. People say, oh, well, all Muslims are radicals. Bull. because I know people that are Muslims, they are not radicals. They are good people. They are hard-working people. People that do not deserve to be, to be focused on and hated on and everything, and made to feel like just because they believe, they follow a certain faith, that it's bad, because there are bad people in all forms of religion. Religion is the best, but mainly the worst thing to happen, because it is the most divisive thing in the world. That is why I'm not a religious person. I mean, do I believe in some form of something? Sure, okay, agnostic, but I'm not somebody that's going to associate with a permanent religion, because it's a headache. And sorry, but if people want to believe that Muslims are the worst thing in the world, no, they aren't. Crazy people in the, that claim to be part of the Muslim faith, crazy people claim to be part of the Christian faith and Catholic faith and all that stuff, letting religion drive and twist and warp and, fill your mind with hate, those are the type of people that we need to focus on. Not just put a blanket statement on people, though I will say this about white supremacy, which isn't a religion, even though people treat it like that. That's something that needs to be taken care of, and that's something where it's like, oh, Trump is awfully quick to tweet about the NFL protests. Took him a while to tweet about Puerto Rico, probably had to have his arm twisted. Same with the white supremacist, had to have his arm twisted about that. I just don't get why people would support a guy that clearly only cares about himself and his own rich buddies. That's really what it is. So in closing in this whole thing about Trump needs to just stop tweeting in general and actually need to do his job. I know doing an actual job may be difficult for him, especially since his daughter is just so close to him, and he so badly wants to do something to her because he's a sick freak. Puerto Rico needs our help. That's really what it comes down to. Puerto Rico needs our help. The citizens need our help. I have a few friends over there, including one in particular that I've become very attached to, like, as far as social media and everything, because she's a very cool person, and I worry about her and her kids, because she's a good person, at least what I know about her. So I hope she and everybody in Puerto Rico can get the help they need. Send as many relief workers possibly as you can. Divide them between here and Houston, and even send some to Mexico. Mexico is willing to send people to us for Houston, for the Houston, for Hurricane Harvey. Send people to Mexico to help that. Do that kind of stuff, but especially send people to Puerto Rico. Do whatever you can. That island could be back up. It could be back up a lot quicker if we just send as many people as possible. Now, I'm not saying flood the island and everything and clog the streets, but make sure that there are relief workers available. People get the clean drinking water and get everything that they need. And can be taken to medical facilities, local medical facilities if need be, off the island and everything. There's ways to do it. Puerto Rico needs our help. So hopefully any links and everything on Twitter, Google, Facebook can be visited, donated to, spread the word out. If I had the money, honestly, I mean, I'm living on the income I'm living on. If I had the money, if I had billions of dollars, I would not be here shooting this video. I would be over there. I'd be over there recording the efforts of people and saying this is what America is like. That's the thing. We need to remind people of what America is, what humanity is, helping people, taking care of our fellow man and woman and child. Let's not be like Trump. Let's be better than Trump. Because as Americans, we are. Despite the people that voted for Trump, which, I mean, come on, guys. If you're not regretting it now, when are you going to regret it? Puerto Rico needs our help. Plain and simple. So anyway, let's move on from that. So thank you guys for putting up with that rant, and I really enjoyed doing that. I try to be less angry than I have been in other political rants, because honestly, it's like beating a dead horse at this point. It really, really is like beating a dead horse. There's just no point. Add some, stellar points to it, which I feel like did. And maybe when Trump visits Puerto Rico, the big island with lots of water, because he's apparently a third grader that's giving an answer about geography. Maybe he'll see what it's like for people to actually suffer. Anyway, so we're about 10 minutes in this video. Let's get on to some wrestling-related stuff. First, I'm going to talk about WhatCulture. And I talked briefly about the WhatCulture Exodus before, where Adam Blampied, Adam Pacitti. Wait 1 second, folks. Alright, short break. Anyway, folks, Adam Pacitti, Adam Blampied, Sam Driver, King Ross, Jackson Jobber all left WhatCulture recently. And they're going to start their own channel soon, and I can't wait for that. It's going to be fun. However you feel about WhatCulture, and that's fine if some of you guys don't like it, and that's okay. We all have our favorite channels and least favorite channels, and that's okay. But I just want to say this much. For the people that are hating, and I've checked some of the comment sections on like videos that Simon Miller have done, and Jules and Ben Potter and Peter Austin, and especially Chelsea. And I don't know Chelsea's last name, but she's the Scottish one, I believe. She's the Scottish one that's been doing the fast count videos recently. I noticed a lot more hateful comments, and this has been since this whole announcement has happened, where people have, where the popular people are leaving. I mean, the hateful comments were happening before that anyway. I mean, if you check YouTube comments on any popular video, I mean, you're going to see stuff where it's like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are people like this? The reason that I'm doing this little blurb about them, though, guys, come on. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of people leaving either. I mean, it's like, sure, I can blame the WhatCulture bosses if I want, but I'm not going to blame the staff that's leaving, or that's staying there. Simon Miller, very awesome guy. I really enjoy a lot of his videos. He has some good humor. He has a really good positive outlook on wrestling and on life, and he's never going to watch this. I mean, and that's not knocking Simon, but the man's a busy man. Unless somebody happens to take what I'm saying about him and send it to him. Take this little video and send it to him. But Simon Miller, I really enjoy Simon Miller's work. At first, I wasn't so sure about the guy. Like, maybe the first couple times I watched his videos, like when I first got, turned on to the WhatCulture channel. But I really enjoy Simon Miller's work. He's a lot of fun. Very positive outlook, and I usually, even if I'm negative towards a Raw, SmackDown, or a pay-per-view, he can present some points that make me think, well, that's another way to look at it. I mean, that's always good. So I really enjoy Simon Miller's work. In his own channel, The Miller Report, I really enjoy that. What little bit I'm able to check out, I really enjoy that stuff. I think that he, I think he's very good. He's very good, and he's allowed to be a little more honest and everything and stuff like that. And it really works, and I really like that stuff. Jules, who usually does stuff for WhatCulture Gaming and occasionally for the WhatCulture main channel, I really enjoy him because he can be sarcastic and he can present some good humor, but he also presents some reasonable takes. Him, Ben, and Peter did a review of Mother, where I didn't necessarily agree with what Jules was saying, but the way he presented his points made it reasonable. It was certainly a great way to do it. And that was good stuff. And so I enjoyed Jules's work. Also, Ben, I think Ben's pretty funny. It took me a bit to get used to Ben's style and Ben's sense of humor and everything, but I like Ben. Peter Austin, I really like Peter because he's kind of I don't want to say monotone, but he's a bit dry. But there's nothing wrong with that. It certainly works for him, and I like a lot of the gaming stuff that he's done. And then I want to get to Chelsea. The one that's been doing fast count. I don't get the hate that she's getting. Give her at least a few months before you guys start to, before you guys start to hammer her. I mean, everybody has to get used to being on camera. If you guys saw, like, if I actually had better internet at the time I had started my channel, and hadn't just been recording on Ustream and uploading it to YouTube, where the video at times would be a little glitchy with the audio. If I had been doing that since about, what was it? I think it was like end of July, early August 2014. If my first videos were on here, I mean, I think I mainly deleted a lot of them up into, I think, like the summer of 2015. Because that's when I got a better phone and everything, and I was able to do better stuff. The whole point is that when you first start out, you're not going to be as good as you are when you advance further. There are some people whose YouTube channels I've seen, like I look back at their older stuff, and yeah, it's nice to see where they came from. My point is with Chelsea, one, there are people that think, oh, Chelsea, why would I want to look at this? There are people that are calling her ugly and this kind of stuff. Calling her ugly. First off, I think she's cute. I mean, but aside from that, why would you pick on somebody's looks? I mean, this kind of stuff, we are human. Now, I have done plenty of rants. I have called people a whole lot of names. I have said stuff about various people. I have said stuff about various talents and various former talents, from wrestling. I mean, and not just wrestlers, but people like Vince Russo, Josh Matthews, Mark Madden, even though to less of an extent with Madden, because Russo and Josh Matthews have done way worse stuff. Steve McMichael, Lex Luger, a whole bunch of people. My point is that I've ranted about stuff, but guys, take it from me. Do not give into that kind of hate. Make jokes and have fun with it and add some humor to it, but do not be outright hateful when it comes to just people on YouTube. You want to get outright hateful about politics, about real life situations and real life stuff, that's totally fine. I love wrestling too and I get wrapped up in it, but come on guys, let's not be like this. WhatCulture provides some really, really good content. And it's fine if you don't like it. I want to say that much. If you guys really just honestly don't like it, it's not your cup of tea, cool. But to hate on the people just because of what they do, I mean, they're just doing their jobs. I mean, and especially, I'm sorry, but like the people I mentioned before, but especially Chelsea. I mean, I'm going to focus mainly on her because everybody else, Simon, Jules, Ben, Peter, have done on-camera work and that kind of stuff before. I don't recall having seen Chelsea do that much camera work before. Again, she's got some good humor. She clearly knows what she's saying about the wrestling business, at least from a fan's perspective. And yeah, she's good looking. At least I think she is. Give her a chance, guys. Come on. Let's be better. Let's be better than that. And now I'm going to focus on something. Now this might be where I get a little bit upset. Because now this is strictly based on rumors, so take it with a grain of salt. But the rumors are that WWE is either planning on having Nakamura win the title at Hell in a Cell and then lose it to Jinder soon after, or having Jinder keep the title till Mania. Now I'm going to say this much. Either one of those is a bad idea. I mean, because it would be like what NXT did for Nakamura when he won it. He won at TakeOver Brooklyn 2 and then lost at TakeOver Toronto and then won the title back again, like on a house show in Japan, and then lost it to Rude. He can be the guy. Way better than Jinder. I mean, I'm sorry, but Jinder's just not drawing an audience. Now, the bad attendance isn't all on Jinder, but when you don't have the drive to go see a main eventer, if the guy's not helping draw crowds in there, at least helping with it, he shouldn't have the title. Jinder could be trying for all I know, but he's just not any good. He's not good enough to be the guy. He never will be good enough to be the guy. And this stupid evil foreigner gimmick is just ridiculous. It's absolutely mind-numbingly ridiculous. It is taking the legacy of the championship and it's just shitting on it. And that's what it is. It's like, I'm actually trying to be a lot calmer about this because I've resigned myself to the fact that WWE really hates its fans. At least they must. They must hate a lot of the fans that actually care about the product and want to see the product present. Yes, wrestling is entertainment. Yes, they choreograph some of the stuff. They do get legit hurt, as evidenced by Cesaro. And a lot of people that get injured. They do rehearse this stuff and they do know what they're doing. They're professionals. But if Jinder's not entertaining, what is the goddamn point? Seriously, what's the point? What's the point of having the title on him? Because all you're doing, if you keep saying, I like long title reigns, but I like long title reigns that actually mean something. Now first off, if Bray had been the one to lose to Jinder, you might as well have just taken Bray and just released him. Because that would have killed his career right there. But, Orton doing it, Orton couldn't get him over. Sorry, he couldn't get him over. I mean, he managed to get the Sings over the announce table, which I'm still not sure how whichever Sing that was that took that head bump on the announcer's table is okay, because that'll just look vicious. And, of course, Orton dropping him and, which is really, really cool. I really like that one. But WWE keeping the title on Jinder till Mania is a really, really bad idea. It's an awful idea. This is the only way, though, it could work. The only way. You have Sami Zayn beat him. That's the only way it works. Now, you could have Nakamura versus Styles at Mania without the title. That match can sell itself without the title. I will say that much about it. But I would say, have Sami Zayn beat him. And I'm serious. Have Sami Zayn do it. And there would be no, Money in the Bank cash in, no none of that or whatever. You have Sami Zayn beat Jinder. And it would be glorious. It would be the way to do things. It would be, excuse me, my nose itches. It would be the way to do things proper and to get Sami Zayn over. I mean, not that Zayn isn't over already as it is, but it would give him the rocket and would push him up. Much like you did for Daniel Bryan in New Orleans, which is where you guys are going to be for Mania 34. So if you guys are going to keep the title on Jinder till 34, which is a bad idea, especially after that promo that he cut, that racist promo on Nakamura, I'm not putting that on Jinder, I'm putting that on Creative. But after that, and after the backlash they should have gotten the title right off of Jinder. So I'm willing to bet that even if Nakamura does beat him in Hell in a Cell, and I am recording this on the 30th of September, if he beats him at Hell in a Cell, basically, 8 days from now, that Jinder will probably again be champion in heading into Mania. Because they're bound and determined to make the title mean nothing. Because it means next to nothing. Yes, the U.S. title is the workhorse title, but you're telling me that if he was holding the U.S. title hostage, that wouldn't be a better story? I mean, hostage in the sense, you get my point. I probably should have used different wording there. You're telling me that wouldn't have worked? Because it would have been the anti-American thing, and it would have been even better. But whatever. Jinder keeping the title, though, till Mania, bad idea. Jinder having the title in the Mania is a bad idea. Even if he loses it to Nakamura and wins it back like a month and a half, 2 months later, it's still a bad idea. And now, Enzo being the focal point of 205 Live is a bad idea. It's a bad idea. 205 Live needs to be on before SmackDown. I mean, or put it in Full Sail or something. I mean, you need to do something here because the 205 Live brand, I mean, Enzo is getting boos, but he's not always getting like that many reactions during his promos. I mean, yeah, I hate the guy being Cruiserweight Champion. I want to see him taken out on a stretcher. So bravo to WWE for accomplishing that and making it mean something. But sorry, you as much as I hate Jinder being champion, it's worse than Enzo being Cruiserweight Champion because Jinder is taking the legacy of the WWE Championship and shitting on it. Through less fault of his own and more fault on Creative. But Enzo is taking a title that Neville had made pretty damn relevant, or at least as relevant as he could, and putting it in the shitter. Because he can't work. He can work on the mic, great, and then when the bell rings, he can't work. But the only way it's going to work is if I would call Aleister Black up and have him beat him. Because I think that what they're going to do is they're going to keep this whole thing where, everybody beat up on Enzo so no one can face him. Even though I think Kurt Angle's going to force him to face Neville. Even if Neville can't earn the championship, guess what? Neville can beat him. Neville can pin him at a pay-per-view. That's what needs to happen. And you need to don't call up a bodyguard. Don't call up anybody to help Enzo. Don't have anybody help Enzo. You have him beaten down week after week after week after week after week. Because Enzo's a joke. People could say, Enzo's like the new Santino. Santino could actually wrestle, though. Enzo can't. It's clearly obviously he can't. But he's really bad at it. He's not even Marie levels of bad, but he's pretty bad at it. I want to take a moment to also say about the Stevie Ray podcast, Stand Up for Greatness. Him and his co-host Matt Kapolsky. I'm sorry if I got that name wrong. They're not going to watch this, but it's I'm sorry if anybody watches Stand Up for Greatness or listens to Stand Up for Greatness if I got that name wrong. But I like Stevie Ray's podcast. I like it in particular because he's ripped on Vince Russo, justifiably so, by the way, because Vince Russo's trash, and he is. But I just want to take a moment to mention how Stevie Ray's podcast, Stand Up for Greatness, it's wonderful. I have to listen to it in chunks at times because I don't always have the time to listen to it. I listen to some of the full episodes, or watch some of the full episodes in Title Match Wrestling. I listen to what other clips I can on iTunes, but Stevie Ray's great. I really enjoy his show. He's fantastic. It's fantastic, and I'm a bigger fan of Stevie Ray now than I was when he was part of Harlem Heat, when him and Booker T were Harlem Heat, and I was a big fan of Harlem Heat. This has made me appreciate Stevie Ray the man more because he does stand up for what he believes in and actually does present the truth, like how Vince Russo is absolute trash. And also, finally, about Paige's possible return to the ring. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I wish her the best. I wish her a long career. I hope that she does well in WWE and afterwards, because I think once her contract's up in 2019, she's gone. Good for her if she succeeds. I don't care. I just don't care. Paige has not been relevant to me for a while as far as a wrestler. If she can recover physically and be okay, I'm all good for it. But personally, I just honestly don't care. She could come back by by Survivor Series, I think, or she could come back by the Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble they're planning to have. They're planning on having 15 women. I would go with 20, and I would have some NXT call-ups happen where you could have some eliminations, and you could make people like Nia Jax and Tamina, if you want to do. Sorry, my nose itches again. Make them look strong. And also, so Paige, I wish her the best. I don't really care. Same with Caitlyn. If Caitlyn returns to the ring, okay. I didn't really miss Caitlyn when she left. I was a little surprised she left when she did. I didn't really miss her when she left. So, whatever. Anyway, folks, that's what I got to say. Thanks for putting up this extra long edition of Rapid Fire. I really hope you enjoyed my rants and enjoyed my points. What do you guys think? What topics would you like me to talk about? Leave them in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Also, it's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.